I'm trying. It's it's not letting me do whatever I want to do. This is so frustrating. Oh my gosh. It's supposed to be horizontal and it's not allowing me to make my phone go horizontal. This is a lot of fun. I love this for everyone involved. Not trying to rotate this orientation. Okay, let's see. I'm going to never do this ever again. That's what's gonna happen. I hate everything about what's happening right now. Oh my gosh. Am I even live? Am I live? I am live. I don't know. I can't see anything. This is amazing. I can't see anything on my end. It's not pulling up on my tablet. I can't see anything. This is like so frustrating. You guys are seeing a almost anxiety attack in real time. This is great. I love this for me. See, I see it right there. And there's nothing. So I can't even see any of your comments. This is fun. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure what to do. I can't even see it. Is it because it's mine? But I don't understand. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to go behind my phone again. I am so very sorry. This has got to be frustrating to view on all fronts. Okay, how do I do this? What if I go to the browser? Okay, so now my YouTube is not even showing up on my What do I even do? What do I even do? Like, oh my gosh, what a day. What a day. Alright, well, I guess I'm just gonna talk at you. Yes, that's all that I can do. Hi, I'm Shannon. I am normally way more put together than whatever it is that you're seeing. Happy Pisces pack release day. Yeah, that's supposed to be way more fun than whatever this is. Yeah, I don't know. This is driving me nuts. It sees StreamYard as a computer. It bypasses requirements, so requirements go live. I can't read any of that. Okay. Do I have to go to StreamYard? I don't know what I have to do, but what's the point of going live if I can't see any of your comments, you know? So I really want to try and get that figured out. But it's not even, whatever's going on with my tablet, it's not even showing me the messages that I'm getting. This is so aggravating. So I'm going to see if this helps. I don't think that it would because it's not through there. I can't see your messages, guys. You keep messaging and I can't see them. I'm sorry. This is what I get when I open my messages. This is so much fun. Okay. Give me 1 minute, please. I'm gonna go. I gotta do something because this is like so pointless. I am so sorry. Give me like 2 minutes. I'm not gonna cancel the live. I will be away from here, but I have got to go look at the messages on the only device that I apparently can, which is my PC, which is downstairs. I will be right back. I'm back. I had to reboot my iPad. So, I'm so sorry. This is not ideal for me. Just got done running up the stairs, but I don't know what's going on. I had to reboot my iPad. I couldn't see my messages in Messenger. I couldn't see YouTube on the browser or in the app or I couldn't see anything on my iPad. I don't know what happened, but I'm here now, and now everyone got to see me have a mental breakdown. It's great. I love it. Woo! Okay. Anyway, so we're here now. I'm very sorry. I'm going to say sorry probably about 50 more times. You're welcome for that. Yes, the reboot worked. Again, I'm so very sorry, everyone. We are now 25 minutes behind schedule, 2 lives, and we're just getting started. It's fun. So, welcome to Behind the Threads, January 2025 edition. Made it all the way to the last day of January, and not sure if most of us actually survived January. by much more than like a thread. But here we are. I know that it was a little sketch for me there. Yeah. So, Pisces pack released today. If you don't know what the Pisces pack is, it is an add-on to the Aries. It's jam-packed. It's got 98 pages worth of instructions, a bunch of pattern pieces and everything so that you can completely transform what was the original Aries to now a bunch of different bags with endless possibilities. So I'm really happy about it. I didn't really hit my like, okay, I'm proud of my work until about 12:30 a.m. this morning. But I am now. Now I'm kind of in that mode of like, okay, I did it. I feel the weight off my shoulders. Then I start a live and nothing works and here I am. I'm joking. But yes. So hopefully the sound's okay. Hopefully the video is okay. I promise at some point I'll figure out how to get all of this perfect, but apparently it doesn't matter how much money I throw at it. Something is not. This right here, so I'm not looking all the way to the side. Okay, now that I have had a heat stroke, I've ran up and down the stairs. I almost was like crying down the stairs. My husband was in the middle of a game and I was like, emergency. He was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, I don't know, reboot it. While I just click on things on my browser and do nothing. And it worked. So, crisis averted. Anywho, so let's see. Hi, everybody. And, okay. Thank you guys for being so understanding. Thank you for being here. I'll get there one day. Okay. You know, I had this set up so that you didn't see my pants, so that I didn't iron my pants, and then I got up and moved around, and now we're in vertical and everything, and it's like, that's not the plan, but here we are. So, let's see. Karen says the bound top with exterior pockets is really calling me. So the bound top, I really like the bound top because it just gives it like a really kind of high-end look, but it is more work. And, you know, it does take some time to get it like perfect. And in the video tutorial, I'll show you the bags. I just filmed the intro outro. I gotta finish editing tonight. And at some point before midnight tonight, the video will go live for the video tutorial. But I will show you. I have a chain strap. I'm gonna take that off so it's not too loud. And then, let's see. I'm doing the bound top, the flap as I love a flap, slip pocket, and the card slots are genius. Oh, I'm glad you like the card slots. They're pretty, like there's a lot, you know, it's just kind of how a lot of card slots are made. I felt like it wasn't anything revolutionary, but it was nice that you can do it without raw edges. I don't like card slots that are just a single layer on that top edge because I feel like it just gets flimsy over time. Plus I like to see the stitches right there at the top of card slots, so I really prefer doing it the way that I did. Okay, so this is not the bound top, this one is. For the bound top bag that I did for the tutorial, I was like, you know what, I'm going to add on strap connectors so I can show people what it looks like with strap connectors. And I was like, you know, me and my clever self, I was like, oh, that's great. But then when it came time to apply the binding, I'm saying the instructions about lining it up on your gusset, and then here we are. You can't hide that edge of the binding without the D-ring connector there, and so I was like, oh, okay, let's do that, and let's change that to be not what I wrote in the pattern. That's fun. And then because I did that overlap in an area where it's going to be seen, and I kind of wasn't really planning for that, I hope for the best. I lost it a little bit, but then you get to watch me go back and completely fix it, and then it turns out really nice. You can see where my top stitching and the overlap turned out really well. So, hopefully you like it. Let's see. Everybody loves the flap. The saddlebag minimalist is everyone's favorite for the most part. yes, you know, I'm glad that you see every single one of the wrinkles in my pants. That was the goal, actually, if you didn't know. The bound top brings me back to the Gaia. Love it. Feels so very nostalgic. Yes. It was like, I was kind of like, I think I had 8 add-ons kind of fully fleshed out. I knew what I was going to do with like some minor details that needed to be changed. But then I was like, what are 2 more that I could do that wouldn't be too difficult, that would look nice, and that, you know, I could teach someone right away. And the benefit of adding that bound top to the add-on pack is that you're not fully intimidated by it. You can completely avoid it. But if you want to try it, the option is there without having to buy a whole pattern just to try that technique. And so that's kind of why I added that in there. Oh yeah, you got to see all of Brittany's, didn't you? Oh, you love watching mistakes be fixed. I don't like making mistakes on camera, if you couldn't tell. It's but I was filming at my cylinder arm, and I was like, man, I just have to just go forward with this and fix it, and it ended up working out really well, and it didn't take that long to fix, and it's secure, and it turned out really nicely. So it was nice to have that experience to show you, and it was actually kind of like satisfying to watch it come together for sure. So I'll walk you through. I have 6 bags right here. I have the 3 that I made for the pattern and 3 that I made for the video. And so I'll walk you through the bags that I made and what all the add-ons are that are in them. And then, yeah. So you guys have seen these 2. These are the wristlet. This is the wristlet pouch add-on, and it has 2 grommets that are installed. I think when I first posted these, I did this in, I guess, December of 2023, and I think a lot of people thought that I just put a single grommet through all of the layers. And while you could do that, you would then lose your ability to open up your pouch pretty wide, and, you know, I ain't gonna cut it. So then I put 2 on there, and you feed the circle ring through. So you still have a nice wide open pouch without, but you just use 2 grommets instead of 1. So it's just a simple, basic pouch instructions, but then after that you add on your hardware, and that's kind of what elevates a little bit. And then everyone gets the guide to quilting, and there's 2 quilting designs in there. You know, it's nothing too crazy, but it does work well with the Aries because you avoid doing your cutting into your corners down here. Like when you're doing your trimming and doing your darts, you're not cutting into stitches because you completely avoid it, and it works well with the grommet. So it's kind of nice, just a little addition, but you also kind of learn like adding stabilizers and drawing and all of these things. You kind of get a little bit of tips and tricks for quilting. I'm no expert, it's just what I do. You could do whatever you want, but I just shared my knowledge there. So there's a chevron and then kind of like a woven. And then this is the one that I did for the pattern. And I just put the card slots in there for that. And let's see. Okay, Karen asks if, wait, I'm a little far down. Okay, the flap is my favorite addition. Feels so classy to me. Thank you. I thought so too. I think it's the depth of the flap that makes it feel classy. I don't know. I think we're so used to like short to middle length flaps, but we don't see a lot of like full depth flaps, and I think that's kind of what elevates it a little bit. Plus the wide curved shape of the Aries. I think it kind of all helps it. And so Karen asks, is that foam or fleece interfacing? So it's actually both. You'll see that in the pattern, you do both. It's foam with fleece on top. Laquita says, the slim profile at the top of the wristlet is my fave. Some get bulky near the top zipper tab, not this one. Yes, I do walk you through the method that I've been using for years about how to get nice corners to your zipper pouches. you know, the bulkier your materials, the less careful you are on sewing all of your materials without them overlapping in the wrong spots and all that stuff, all of that's going to work against you. But if you follow the instructions and you do exactly what I say, you should be able to get nice corners on your zipper pouches instead of any that kind of sink in or anything like that, because obviously we don't want that. These are one of those things that's like really great for gifts. And if you were like me and bought a bajillion grommets when the Mayfield was happening, now you have a reason to use grommets because you use the same ones. So I'm going to go through the pattern bags first, and then I'll go through the video bags. So for the pattern bag, you have the front slip pocket here. So this is, it is almost the full size of the front of the main panel, but not really. You have a unique construction for it, but the goal was that if you're going to pair this with the Aries, you don't want extra things in your seam because you're already tacking on your linings to your exterior in the original Aries. So we had to keep it out of the seam allowance. So I've got a little bit of a unique construction for the slip pocket, the exterior slip pocket, and I like it. Now it does not have any magnet holding it closed, but once you put stuff in the bag and you put something in there, it should be fine. But if you really want to add a magnet, you can absolutely do that. You just put it in there, and I touch on that in the pattern as well. And let me see. Oh, you love this bag? Thank you. And sorry I'm late. Is this pattern out now? Yes, it is on my website. I don't have anything in the description for you here for this live, but it is on my website, ninathreadscode.com. If you go to PDF patterns, you'll see all my PDF patterns, and the first one on the list should be the Pisces bag. Yes, a half moon magnet would be perfect here. Honestly, what I think that I would like to do, and I told Brittany about this the other day, is that I want to do a sew-in magnet so that I can still more easily open the pocket, because I would want my phone in here, but the reason why I didn't want to put a magnet in there because I don't want to have to undo a strong magnet constantly to get to my phone. It's a perfect phone pocket. I would show you, but my phone is being used. So, anyway, but a half moon or even a sew-in, because you have that material in between your magnets that would help you open it a lot easier. This is not Mora faux leather. This is the faux suede from what is now called Iris Textiles. I bought a bunch of it, and so that's why I used it for as much as I did for the pattern in the video bags. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you haven't needed a magnet in the slip pocket. Honestly, I haven't worn and used the slip pocket, but I knew it would work in theory. But in an empty bag, it's a little off-putting because you're like, well, I mean, it almost seems gaping, Shannon. And I'm like, but wait, okay? We'll use it for a while and then report back. But also, I know, and that was part of the reason why I put the magnet in there. If that's a concern for you, it is so easy to just install a magnet right here. You have plenty of room to put that in there. I just didn't feel like it was necessary. And let's see, are there SVG files available for this pattern? Yes. All the pieces of SVG files for all 3 major cutting machines. I hire someone to make sure that they work for every program and the size is consistent for each of those programs for each of the files. The files are formatted to work on a 12 by 24 cutting mat, which is what you would typically use for bag making on those cutting machines. If you are going to be using it for like a laser, then you would probably use the SVG files, and you would have to import multiple, obviously, do your own thing. But they're kind of designed and oriented and made for working with the like Cricut silhouette, stuff like that. But yes, they're included. And I also, for this release, I also uploaded late, but they're there now. The stabilizers for the Aries crossbody that was not originally included in the SVG files for the Aries, but now it is. Okay, what pattern is this? This is an add-on, so it's kind of hard to explain, but this is an add-on pack for the Aries crossbody that you take some of the pieces from the Aries crossbody and you take some of the pieces from the Pisces pack and you follow the instructions in the Pisces pack, and then you can create a whole new bag. So it's that. So we have that front slip pocket. Anyway, it's a unique construction. It's nice to have. It's a nice big pocket. I hope you like it. You can use it with the original Aries, or you can use it with any of the minimalist options. Then you have the normal zipper pocket for the zipper overlay. And I love the method that I use because you don't see any stitches or anything inside the pocket. It's a very clean finish. You can use it to birth or not to birth it through the pocket. I have done it the same way for years and I really love it, so I just do that. And then of course I have the bound top. And then the alternate D-ring connector. And so you would use this in place of the D-ring connectors that come with the original Aries. And it helps you avoid any edge painting, which is really nice. And then you have your recessed zipper, the modification that started it all. And then for this one, I just did that interior slip pocket. So the thing about the interior slip pocket is that it's designed to work with the recessed zipper, because the way that you top stitch the recessed zipper, well, okay, it makes most sense to top stitch the recessed zipper pointing up, because I've seen people where they top stitch it pointing down and then they'll put a pocket in there, and I'm like, why do you do that? How do you get into your pocket? How do you get in there? That's not the side with the pocket. This one is. But like, so if you top stitch it down, so as soon as you unzip it, it will flap down, and then it's like, well, now I have to flip it up out of the way just to get into that pocket. And I don't want to do that. I don't think it makes sense, especially with such a small pattern. If it's a bigger pattern and the pocket sits lower down on the bag, absolutely go for it. But this is always my preference. And so anyway, because of all that, having a normal zipper pocket right there to birth your bag and the method that we used in the original Aries wasn't really going to work. And so typically when people were making the modified Aries, they were going without any pockets on the inside, or they were making it with slip pockets and stuff like that, and there was no way to birth the bag. But I wanted you to be able to combine the recessed zip with the original Aries if you wanted to, and I wanted to give you a pocket that you could use inside the minimalist version, the recessed zip minimalist version. And so I took the method that I made for the Rowena, which serves the same purpose, and I just altered it to fit for the original Aries, and voila, here we are. Thank you, Karen. Okay, so moving on now to so this was another pattern bag, and this was again, the saddle bag minimalist, so everyone loves the flap. The flap is connected with two magnets. If you really wanted to, you could use sew-in or rivet magnets. Shanova used rivet magnets for hers. If you use sew-in magnets, you wouldn't have as much of a snap. You would just kind of have it stick down, which is totally an option. And so inside I went no pockets. Again, I love the idea of keeping things minimalist, but I understand some people want maximalist, and so that's why for both the pattern and the video I kind of did one bag with less stuff and one bag with a lot more stuff. You have to say, my husband's an Aries and my son's a Pisces. I'm a Pisces. My husband is an Aries, and so I love that we have that tiny little connection. Can you do that bag as a drop-in rather than birthing it? So that's what this is. So in the Pisces pack, I give you instructions for doing a bound top like we did on the other bag, or a drop-in lining, which is this one right here. There's no birthing it. I just wanted you to have a pocket that you could use for the Aries, which is birthed. And so the other pocket, there's two zipper pockets. This one is a bonus because it's kind of a new method, and it won't work for everyone, and it won't work for all materials. But I just thought it was fun, and so it is a welted zipper pocket. So it's kind of sewn very similar to the overlay, but then you completely cover your zipper there with a little top. A little flappy flap, as my friend calls it. And yeah. And it's just low enough also for most of our zipper pulls. If you have a really large and long zipper pull, maybe you'll have problems, but I haven't so far. This is all the original size pieces. I didn't enlarge anything. It looks bigger with the flap on it. It just gives a bigger appearance, but it's the same, and it's, again, the same size as the original Aries. I wanted you to use all of your original pieces that you could and not have to get new pieces and stuff like that for the basic kind of parts of the construction. Laquita says, I love the welted zipper pocket. And the little heart thing is, but I can't see that word. Oh, brought you back to your garment sewing days. But without the headache. Fair. So, for the pattern bag, or for the video bag, I did a very similar method, except for all I did was flip-flop who got the drop-in and who got the bound top, so that you could see what the slip pocket looks like without the binding and stuff like that. Yes, you know, I love the welted zipper too. It's not right for all purposes, all materials, or all stabilizers, but when it works really well, and I do love it. So this is your slip pocket without the bound top. And then it's almost the same combination of things, except for I did add the card slots on this one. Then we have the slip pocket and the zipper pocket and the alternate D-ring connector. I have a pile of bags next to me. And then there's the last one. That one is the, again, the saddlebag minimalist, and I put the welted zipper in this one as well. No interior pockets, but then I bound it. So yeah, that's that. Are the 3D printed files available? Not yet. I started sending them to testers, and then we noticed a couple of the dimensions were off here and there, and so we're working on kind of making sure that everything is kosher before we send it back to testers so that they can get to printing. And once they get to printing, they each are assigned a couple plates worth of pieces. Once they get through them and they're all good to go, it will be up and ready to go. When can you do the bound bag as a drop-in? Yes, so there's an add-on for binding the top, and then there is not an add-on, but it's a different section in the written instructions that tell you how to do the drop-in. So you have both options in the bag. Everything that you just saw me, you saw me show, all of that is you get instructions to do everything you just saw. When do I anticipate the 3D files being available? The goal is to have them ready by Wednesday. But I don't know if all the testers will be able to print. I know one is heading to Lawrence to teach at So Whatever Studios. I am also going to that class on Friday, so the goal is to get them done. I told my husband that tomorrow night I don't want to work on them, but we can tackle them Sunday night just to make sure all the numbers are kosher. So here's the thing about the 3D printer files, or 3D printer template files. There are a lot of dimensions and multiple programs that are kind of talking to one another, that the goal is to get them all to work really well. So we start out with my file in Adobe Illustrator, and then I tell my husband what my dimensions are and what I see, and then I export that file as like an image, and then he kind of uploads it, and then he has this like big picture. And on top of each of those pictures, he knows what is supposed to be correct. If I give him all the correct numbers, he has the shape, he has how I want it to look, and then he creates the 3D piece and creates the hinge functionality and all that stuff. He does all of that for me, and then we send it to the printer. And so you have my dimensions, his dimensions, what the printer dimensions is, and then on top of all of that, you need to check them against the paper pattern pieces. And then you learn that printers, like paper printers, are extremely inconsistent with their sizes, and that is mind-boggling. But so you can't truly check against the paper pattern pieces, but they should be very close. They should be within a millimeter or two. And so our goal of tolerances for like how far off should this be is to be at 0.2 millimeters of tolerance of the size that of the first three measurements of Illustrator, Fusion 360, and Bamboo Lab, or whatever your printing software is. We want all of those three to be kosher, and then we'll have a tolerance that will allow for when you print that piece and then you put that piece on your paper. So it's a long process. There's a lot of numbers. Like, we try to go to the 4th decimal place of the millimeters. This is how our brains are. So there's a lot of technical stuff, and it takes some time. And it's like my computer to his computer, program to program to program. It's kind of a lot. Okay. What is the 3D print used for? So the 3D print is templates. Let me grab one. Hold on. This is my box of templates that I've had kind of nearby for cutting and everything else throughout the pattern stuff. And so we have the normal acrylic templates that you would use for, that you would purchase through anyone who has that laser cutter and sells pattern templates. And then my husband and I, when we got our 3D printer in 2023, I don't know what year it is. Anyway, I knew that I was like, I know what I want to do with that. I want to make templates. I want to be able to print templates for my bag patterns and then offer people the ability to purchase the files to then print them themselves. Not to replace acrylic templates, but to have a readily available, affordable option, because anyone who has a 3D printer loves them. So we always want to use them for whatever projects we can. And so our 3D template, this is a tester file for the quilted wing panel. And so the braces and stuff are different. I kind of designed them a little bit differently after, but the goal is to get this size correct. But it's nice because they're so lightweight, because it's not fully solid, and you know, there's a grid kind of system on the inside of the sections that you see, and it collapses really nicely and is great for storing. So yeah, they are seriously so awesome. Makes cutting the pieces out so much easier for me. Yes. And like, there's a lot of things that we have done, like if I can put information on there for you, like references. So like this inside of this section right here is a specific width that you would use for placing stabilizers and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you taking my brain of how I want pieces, and then also putting it into a different sort of role in the pattern, on the pattern side of things, and then translating that for my husband. I'm like, no, okay, well, they have to make a mark there, so make it thicker there so they can trace the line. And then like all of these edges are rounded, because I find it easier to not look at a super straight edge when I'm tracing or cutting. I like to be able to see where my blade is hitting my material, to see if it's off slightly, and to get closer with my pencil and stuff like that. So anyway, we took a lot of, I would like to call these over-engineered templates, but I love them, so that's good. Laquita says, I love the 3D templates, and my library prints them for me for so cheap. Yes, but not all libraries are cheap. So that's one of the things that some people do. They get the 3D printer files, and they send them, and you can take those files and provide them to your library, and you'll pay for like hourly use of the 3D printer and filament use. So it's not always cheaper, but it's a great option. And if you break one, you only have to replace one piece. You don't have to go and purchase another set or anything like that. They are cheaper to print, but they're not super cheap to print. You still have to pay for all the filament you're using, but a roll of filament is probably going to cost you between $20 to $30, and you're probably going to use less than half for most patterns, but like the Rowena, That was a lot, and so you used probably 3/4 of a spool of filament. Anyway, all this is very technical stuff, and if you know nothing about 3D printers, this was so boring. If you are like me and you're completely geeking out about 3D printers, then you loved that conversation, so there's that. Kira, I hope you do. You'll be printing all the stuff, and you will only print it in pink filament. It'll be great. Okay, so let's see, what else? I think that's about it with the Pisces pack. I am so happy that it's over with. I am very relieved. It's not over yet because I have to finish editing the video, of course. But everything else is done, and no one has said that they have any issues with the files or anything like that, so that's really nice. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, well, I'm glad, Karen. When I released these 3D printer files, or while I was working on them, none of my friends, except for one, had a 3D printer. Now I have a whole test team of people that have 3D printers that purchased them because of me and me gushing about them, truly. Nikki being one of them. Yeah, so it's one of those things where you don't really appreciate the how much fun it is and how satisfying it is until you have one and you start printing, you know. Until then, it's just kind of like, well, I mean, sure, that sounds cool, but why do I need a bunch of little plastic knickknacks? Well, you do. That's the answer. You need all the plastic knickknacks, and it's fun. No regrets. Yeah. But, so what's next for me? Now that the Pisces is done, I've said this to a couple friends, I felt like since, pretty much all of 2024, and up until now, I was kind of looking back. Like, the reason why I designed the Rowena is because I had my cousin, I went and visited her the day that the Rosie, or the day before the Rosie was released, and I saw her Aries was just like jam-packed with stuff, and I was like, ooh, we need a bigger, better Aries, and then along came the Rowena. So it was kind of like looking back, like saying, oh, I see that design, but let's change it. It wasn't a completely new sort of thing for me. It was kind of like taking an idea and altering it. And then it was like, okay, well, let's do the zippered sides on the Rowena. So again, looking back, and then focusing on the Aries, again, looking back to make this Pisces pack. And I guess I'm just a very creative person, and I have essentially hate making the same thing more than once. So none of my bags are identical, and it's always been that way. But in the pattern designing side of things, I didn't realize how much that also affected me until last year, and I think that's kind of what really pushed me into that kind of rut that I had there for a few months, where I was still kind of making and doing, but there was no joy in there, and it was a slug. It was hard to get through it. But now that it's done, it's like, okay, like now the road is open before me, and I can just do whatever, wherever the wind takes me, I'm going to go after I get done inventory and tech stuff. But then I will. And having that in front of me is just so, I can breathe. It's done and over with. I'm proud of my work. I hope everyone loves it. And I don't know, it was a really good feeling to be done. Like, I have been so excited for weeks to get this done. And I just went through the ringer. I mean, we had traveling, we had, the kiddo home for holiday break, and so was my husband, all the holidays, and then we had to go to Vegas to say goodbye to my grandfather, and then we got COVID when we came back from Vegas, and I'm like, this is not how this schedule's supposed to work. But we came through in the end, and here we are, and so that's what's so good. Oh my gosh, a fanny pack. Okay, so any chance you will make a 3D file for the Mayfield? So the goal is to backtrack for all of the PDF patterns that I offer, but we're kind of like, we had to make sure that we did the Aries and the Pisces pack first because we knew that release was coming up soon. And then however long the break is between the this release of the 3D printer files, and then when we can get, the next one will be the Rosie. And so we'll do Rosie, and then we don't know how many the Tuesday tote ones we'll be able to do just due to their size. We are trying to engineer and design 3D printer files that are technically 4 pieces, and you put them all together, but there have been a little bit of hiccups along the way of attaching them and then it bowing in some spots, and so we're still trying to work on that. We will probably end up backtracking for those larger pieces, but we want to be able to provide the ability for people with slightly smaller print beds to also print the files, but we're kind of limited, honestly, on our own knowledge right now. Like we're just trying out different methods. So anyway, we're gonna just kind of take it pattern by pattern and backtrack, but then when a new pattern comes along, we'll have to switch gears and do that. So it's going to be a very slow process. I will say that Mayfield will probably be the last one to get done because it's the least popular pattern, and so I would prefer to go in that direction of like what's going to be wanted more. And so anyway, that's the plan. And then Nikki says a fanny pack. So I am not giving a timeline. One of my goals for 2025 is no timelines, but I will give you guys a little hint. At some point in the next couple years, I do want to do a fanny pack, but it will be called the Shanny pack. And I hope everyone just cackled because that is hilarious, okay? And I cannot wait to make one called the Shanny pack. I just can't wait to do that. It's going to be hilarious, and everyone is going to giggle and laugh at the name, and it's great. Okay. And oh my gosh, Kira, did you read the end of the pattern? I do not want to do a wallet, okay? Yes, I have shown all of the add-ons. It took a little while, so I'm not going to go through them again. But if you go to the listing on the website, the first couple of pages shows you all of the add-ons that are available. Best thing heard all day, the Shanny pack. Exactly. It's perfection in a name is what it is, okay? And I can't wait to make it the most complicated fanny pack in existence because that's my style, and it'll be even more perfectly named. It'll be great. Who knows when that will be? That's probably like 2 years down the road, okay? So, but y'all heard it here first, okay? Okay, so let's see. Next up on my list is of things to do. So I cleaned my sewing room for the most part today because I had to do the intro outro video. Can't be having stuff everywhere, but once I got that done, I filmed the intro outro, and so then I'll just take down all my lighting equipment and stuff like that and put that away, which I'm so looking forward to do that. And then I have a nice clean room. I haven't had that in weeks. And then I gotta tear it all up because I have to count every single piece of vinyl and fabric and rivet and hardware and everything in my room. Look at all my receipts from 2024. Get fully good to go on that front so I can give all of that information to my CPA and then figure out how much money I have to pay the government this year, which is always fun. Way more refined, absolutely. I love the shelving for your threads behind you. Thank you. So they're like clear acrylic kind of like step shelves, and it took a long time to figure out which one would work well for these IKEA kind of cube shelves, but they're not the best. They could stand to each be like a ½ inch more deep, but for the most part they work. I also almost only use these colors. Every once in a while I'll use black or maybe a green, but essentially this is my go-to shelf. All versions of white, clear, and brown, okay? Or white, ivory, and brown. That's my jam. It was UK tax paying day today. I don't envy you. Oh no. Now ours is April 15th. And then, so I just did a bunch of changes to my business this year. So like, not this year, but next year, I'll have a tax due date on March 15th and April 15th. Personal and business and all this other stuff. So it's like even way more complicated now. But that's why I pay the lady to make sure everything is good to go. But yeah, I have a couple ideas. I'm pretty sure I know which design I want to work on next. I'm very excited to get to that point of just like, what am I going to do today? Like, I want that so bad. I want the no pressure, nobody has any idea what I'm doing, and I can just do whatever I want. I can't wait for that. Although that's like another month away. I'm so close. I'm so close. It's very, very exciting for me. Yeah, and I think that kind of wraps up essentially what I've been doing, what came out today, what to expect, and what I'm most excited for. Also, there's a pickle festival the day before my birthday this year, which I'm very excited about. So, and that's not really important, but I just wanted to share that. It's the day before my birthday. They did it for me. I'm excited. Oh, yes. I mean, I felt okay, so it's crazy. It's like I think it's like any maker out there, right? Kind of like you're in the middle of the bag, so you're excited to start. You kind of get going for like the first 30 minutes, and then you are like an hour away from finishing your bag, and right at that kind of hour point, you're like, dude, why did I even do this? Like I just want it to be over already. Like I had my fun. I want to finish it. And most bags I feel that way, except for the rosy. I get that to that point in the rosy and I'm like, ooh, hurry up and finish. It's strange. But I feel that way with patterns too. The way that I describe it is that it feels like I'm in the middle of organizing my room and everything is pulled out and everything is everywhere, and I know that when I'm done, it's going to be so wonderfully organized. I'm going to be so happy. But I just have to get through it. And it's like kind of constantly convincing yourself to get through it. I mean, especially this one, it just, my brain was so disorganized for so much of it. And then trying to figure out how to put that into a very organized way because of kind of how all over the place it is was a little difficult. I'm thankful that I had the weekend add-on pack to kind of reflect back on and know that I did it for that. So I knew it was possible. But it is a lot, and yeah, the video tutorial is probably going to be 4 hours. Maybe 3.5, who knows. But I love seeing all the Aries variations. Thanks for plowing through the tech issues. Oh, no problem. I almost forgot about it. Making the flowchart alone would have ended me. Oh, that was a 2.5-day process. I think it ended up being a total of 22 to 24 hours. So longer than 2.5 days. Obviously, but my days were very long. Those couple of days. Yeah, I think it was maybe 20 to 22 hours worth of time getting that flowchart to what you see now. Yeah, do not recommend. I started doing it and I was like, oh, this won't be too bad. And then I was like, oh no, this, and I don't even cover all the combinations. I really don't. I don't even try. I kind of do the bare minimum of combinations is what you see there. There are a lot more, especially when you start adding in things like the reset zipper, like when you start combining the different construction, like the minimalist with the Aries. So people will put the recess zip into the Aries or put the flap onto the Aries and stuff. But then once you start going into that flowchart gets twice as big. And so I didn't go down those avenues. I kept all the constructions separate. And then I figured if you guys want to make it way more complex, that's on you. But like my brain is at its limit. Did you have a special software for it, or did you have to draw that all yourself? So there is Drawio. I think that's how you call that. I looked it up. I looked up flowchart software or programs that I could get or use, and I found one. I guess it's Drawio. It's a free one, and it automatically like saves into your drive every change that you do, and it kind of you have to design it yourself, but it gives you the tools so you can make the square and then draw the line and then type the word and all that stuff. So all I had to my at my disposal were shapes and lines. Everything else I had to do. Thank you. I'm so glad everybody loves the flowchart. I am going to frame it because I honestly just love, now that I'm past it, I love it. I hated it. It literally brought me to tears once because I was like, why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? And it was so slow. Half of the time was probably just waiting for it to for it to actually select the thing that I clicked. It was driving me. It's like working with a very slow computer. But it wasn't me. It was the software itself on the browser. It was crazy. But I'm glad that I got through it because now that it's done, it's kind of like, okay, like I'm really proud of that, and it's fun. It's a really fun thing. And you know what? I have a printed one that I used for the video that I'll show you guys if you missed it. I have a thing where like I always mess up on camera. And so in the most simple of options of the wristlet pouch, I messed up the option I was showing you on camera, so there's that happened. But it comes, if you print it out in color, the options like this are highlighted for you, so it's a little easier to kind of figure out where you're starting. And then from there you have all those options, and it's kind of like your saddlebags over here, and then your wristlets up there. The original Aries is up here, and then your recessed zip is down here. Greg says, love Draw.io. I don't know, is it Draw.io? Is that how you pronounce it? Or Draw.io? I'm not sure. I use it to mock up web pages for work, yes. I really appreciated that it was free and accessible, because when I did the flowchart for the weekend add-on pack, I had to pay $30 to access the software, and it was way easier to use than this. But I was like, dude, I'm not trying to do that again for literally 2 days worth of work. But it turned out well. I don't think it would have been worth it if I had to keep it on one paper, but this is taped together, and this is in the pattern piece file so that you can have a nice big version of it. Yeah, it was so funny. I took it to the limit. It was like, as I was like, so I started out over here, and then I just worked up here. So I was getting down here, and that's when it was very slow, and I was like, it was when I was adding so much to it. It did not like that. So, yeah. So the Pisces pack and all the digital files on my website are on sale through Sunday night Central Time, so 11:59 p.m. Central. I say this with every release, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think you should buy the pattern until you're ready to sew it. I think that is the smartest way to go about all of these digital items that are available to us at all times. They don't go away. They're still there, and they will be waiting and ready for you when you're ready to sew it. So no pressure. I'd rather you spend $2 more later on when you're ready for it than waste your $10 now and never use it. Just putting that out there because I always like that is said, because I think that's, I'm not trying to pressure anyone to buy. Disclaimer alert. Can you buy the Aries and the complete pieces and the Pisces as a bundle? I don't have it set up on the site to be a bundle pack right now. I have one up there for the Tuesday tote, but not for the Pisces and Aries just yet. It's a little complicated because I will tell you exactly why I hesitate to do that. Because when you go to the download screen, there's a long list of files for you to access when it's a bundle. And the frequency at which I receive emails of people telling me that they only got part, they didn't get the other part, is because they didn't scroll down. It's literally the same thing, the same cost, it's just a 2-in-1. So this means that you would just add 2 things to your cart. And then you could download them all at once at the same time. So I probably won't, honestly, for that reason. But again, it's the same thing. There's no discount for the bundle or anything like that. It's always going to be 2 separate things and always at full price essentially for each. There's no discount when buying them together. Okay, I don't know how long I've been live. that pattern buying philosophy is my plan for 2025. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I stopped buying every pattern that I saw essentially a couple years ago, especially when I started designing. But as a designer, I thought it was important to tell people that, like, you know, it's, if you want to buy it and you just want to read the instructions, that's okay too. I've been there, I've done that. But I think that it's, the FOMO doesn't need to exist in the pattern world. It's not going anywhere. It'll always be there, and there's no reason to stockpile digital patterns. So just, that's all I can say. But yes, I think that I have been on live for a long time, and I am so very sorry about all of the mix-up of the device situation, the technological issues that I had. It seems to be just a constant issue with StreamYard, so I probably won't use that in the future just so that I can avoid that as an issue, and I'm going to work on figuring out the mic stuff. Don't worry. I mean, I said that before, and we were good for a couple months, and then here we are, but I'm going to try my best to make sure that it's perfect. Just wish I could use my DSLR. That's all I want. It's so beautiful, and the mic is perfect, but it doesn't work the way we want it to. So I will try to get everything set up with that so that when in February we do this live stream, we can start out happy hunky-dory like we did the previous months. So thank you all for sticking around and coming back to this live. I'm so sorry that all that happened before. I hate to know that people hear crackling. Like, I can't stand that sound, so I don't ever want to be the person that causes that either. It's just because Android. Just use, I can't read under the stupid heart on YouTube. So I keep missing parts of the sentences. Clearly I'm not very good at this YouTube ordeal. So anyway, we'll figure it out. I will be around all of my people next weekend. I'm very excited to go to Nikki's class and sew up the classic zip around wallet. It's been a couple years since I've sewn it up, but I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you for those who have supported me by purchasing the Pisces pack and who have said such nice things. I truly appreciate it. It was a very fulfilling day for me. Everybody's enthusiasm was just so wonderful. So thank you so much. And I hope you love it. And hopefully I'll be quiet for like a couple of weeks while I kind of be my recluse self and do all my stuff and no pressure and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that kind of quiet, relaxing time. Thank you so much, everyone. And, yeah. Bye. Where's the button? Oh, great. Now I don't know how to end the live. Oh my, this button? Okay.